Hey, how's it going on, you lovely people at Shut Door Shutter, coming back to you with episode 14 of FTB NeoTech, and today we're actually going to be addressing an issue that I discovered between this episode and the last. So I actually put down what is called red fertilizer, and you can see that here on this plant. And actually, the prime example of what just happened. So there was red fertilizer be gone. So what happens is this farmer basically deletes the data of the actual crop, like the farm block under the actual crop. So if you have red fertilizer, it just erases it. I'm not sure why that would be set up that way, but I set up the red fertilizer on the entirety of this crop, and if you actually look at the thumbnail for the previous video, I actually had a lot of it set, and I realized it was breaking. So, what we need to do is we need to come up with a solution on making this more of an efficient farm so we actually get more canola, refined canola. And I actually remembered that Just Dire Things has what is called Blaze Bloom soil. And we're going to get into how to get this here in a second. But to do this, we are going to need to get into Blaze Gold ingots, which does require Blaze Gold. And of course, Blaze Gold requires Blaze Bloom goo, which we should be able to get everything here. All right, mixer. So, lava, redstone, nether wart, blaze powder, and primo gel. So I only need 2 nether wart. I grabbed too many. And this will give us Blaze Bloom goo. Alright, so with the Blaze Bloom goo, we still can make ferrocore ore. That's the same as normal, but we also now have Blaze Gold ore, which we can make using gold blocks. So we just have more things available. So anything on the first tier, you get on the second, and from the third, you get the second and first, so on and so forth. So let's just make a couple of these. And let's just set this down here and let it run. And you can see that this is going to slowly become Blaze Gold ore. And then Blaze Gold ore will, of course, become the raw Blaze Gold. And this needs to be put into an alloy kiln, it looks like, to then make us Blaze Gold ingots. And this requires coke dust. Okay. So we're just going to let this run here. So it's just going to take a little bit longer. I kind of wish there was like a progress meter or something on this stuff, but there is not. We're just going to break this. Okay. And all we need is the ferrite or the Blaze Gold hoe. And actually, to make that, we just need 2 Blaze Gold ingots. And I think I'll have to make the alloy kiln again because I don't actually have that as of current. Yeah, I took that down a while ago. I'll have to rebuild it, but we should be able to snag some coke dust out of there. We just need to make the alloy kiln, which I should still have. Yes, the kiln bricks. So this is a very small multi-block, I think. It's just this, isn't it? Yeah, there it goes. Oh, I put too many. Okay, so it's a smaller block than I thought. Okay, let me see if I can rotate this. There we go. Alright, so that, and then some coal. And that should start cooking up Blaze Gold ingots. I kind of have to keep looking at this because I'm not used to saying these names at all. So I apologize if I make mistakes and call them the wrong thing. Okay, so we've got 1, and we don't need any fancy sticks or anything. It's just normal sticks. Perfect. So this can repair with lava. I don't 100% know what that means, but we will look at it in the future. Okay, so need some sticks and a crafting table. Okay, perfect. So the next thing that we need to do is get an item collector. Doesn't really matter which item collector we have or use in this case. If we have any other ones, which it looks like we might not. We do have the range collector from Actually Editions. It looks like that might be it. You could probably use the drone to collect. Okay. So we're just going to go with this one. That's fine. I just wanted to check and make sure. So ferrocore. I think I have like ferrocore in here, don't I? Yes, 3 ferrocore, and then a couple hoppers. Where are my hoppers? Diamond and an ender pearl. Okay. And that should be just what the doctor ordered. And then now we need a barrel or chest or something along those lines. Let's go for spruce iron barrel. That sounds good. All right, so we're going to first start out by taking out the farmer. And I think we could actually just do... So we don't want the power cable here, but we're just going to place this. And so in here, we should say render area. And we're going to move this over and then down. And then we want to move it out, which is, so we're starting to change radius. Okay, and then we change the x-axis. Okay, so this is not going to be big enough. How do we change it to where it goes? Okay, so that's x-axis. So we'd want to change it to be centered there. Okay, and we don't have any way to make this better, right? Range. Let's look up just dire things. Range. Doesn't look like we have any range upgrades. Well, that does kind of suck. Because I would love to do this with just one of these. I mean, actually, maybe it can. Maybe it's just being a little finicky. Because now it looks like it's wide enough. Okay, so that's a pretty massive range. But I am going to do 5 and 5. Not 4.5, but 5 and 5. So that way it should pick up everything. And then I'm going to do... like that. So it should pick up everything that we need. And then we're going to do... oh, it actually just immediately did it, which is fantastic. So... I was just going to filter this is what I'm going to do, by the way. And then I actually already have canola on me. And so this is the allow list. And then we can unrender the area. So the next portion of this, since we got that completed, and the reason we set this up, by the way, before the actual crop portion, is because if you do not do it this way, you'll actually void crops. So that way, we're not voiding any crops or anything. So, and I'm not worried about this stuff being picked up and thrown through the system, by the way, because I'll just pick up canola seeds out of the barrel, the drawer, box. What is this called? It is just called barrel. Okay, so we can just come over here and grab some. Alright, so the next portion of this is completely and utterly harvesting all of the farmland. Yes, it looks like the worms do not actually be picked up this way. How do you pick up the worms? I don't know. I will have to get more worms real quick after this. Because you can put them on top of the Blaze Bloom soil. I did test this in a creative world, by the way, because I wanted to look at a couple things. And one thing I will say is Blaze Bloom soil actually appears to be a bit faster than red fertilizer normal soil. And I did a couple tests of that just to check. And it looks like it is faster, so that is an interesting thing to keep in mind. I don't know if that's like pack specific, if they've changed it or not. But it does look faster in the case of this pack. So, just kind of experimenting, seeing what we can see. Okay. So now, all we do is Blaze Gold Hoe all of the field. And of course, it has to be the Blaze Gold Hoe. And then as you progress through Just Dire Things, you can get the different tiers of hoe that give you different tiers of soil. And each soil does something different. This one, of course, allows for the items to be harvested automatically. And that is a pretty nifty thing, but every time it harvests, it actually only lasts in the world for about 2 seconds. That's why we needed this. That's why we need the item collector immediately. Oh, I actually got the worm back. I'm so confused. I'm so confused. Okay, so let me get some more worms. And I can't remember how we actually did this. Did we just go grab a normal hoe and just hoe randomly throughout the world? I think that's how you do this. It's been a minute since I've actually done it. So we've got a stone hoe. So we're going to go out this direction and just start hoeing the ground. Seeing if we can get any worms. Oop, I got worms. But I need quite a decent amount of these guys. So I'm just going to hoe and get enough of them. And replace the ones that we have lost. And then hopefully we'll have a pretty decent speed farm without any farmer or anything of that sort. I just like to make things complicated, I guess. Alright, I already got 11. That should be enough. I'll meet you back at the farm. Oh, another feature with any of the Just Dire things, soil, it actually cannot be trampled by anything. It's a pretty nifty thing. It's actually with the actual Primogel soil as well. It can't be trampled. So, just something to keep in mind. So, if you actually want to get something quick and easy, the Primogel, of course, is not that complicated. If you wanted a farm without, borders or anything, definitely look at that, the Ferrocore hoe. That's how you would get that soil. Okay. So, let's go back over here. Grab a stack or so of this. And so with worms, they do a 3x3 area. So we're just going to go and do that. So there's 3. So here, 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 and here. And then, of course, the middle is not touched. So I'm just going to do this. This should cover everything, right? Because you've got 3x3. Yeah, we're good. So now we just plant down the canola seeds. And over time, these will be pretty quick to grow. They're not like the fastest thing in the world, but they definitely grow quick. Especially with the worms adding some speed to them as well. You cannot do red fertilizer on these. I did try that as well in a creative world, just because I was curious. And that is not the case, sadly. So, okay. So we should just be able to watch this and hopefully see this thing auto-harvest and also be picked up from this. This also has particle effects when it picks items up, by the way. So if I drop this, you should see that little particle effect. And then we're also going to decrease the time at which it picks things up. 20 ticks, by the way, is a second, so you should be safe in this farm's case, which is fantastic. Okay. I'm just going to sit here for a second, and hopefully we can see this being pretty decent. Oop. It broke something. Oh, and it picked it up. Beautiful. So we should basically have a system that is not using this oil generator any longer, right? Oh, the only thing it was using was this. So actually, I do need to set this back. Because this was the power for this. But it's not doing 2 machines. So it should actually need less. And actually breaking that just emptied all of the refined canola oil. Which is a thing that I kind of forgot about. Until just now. And of course, we don't have any demagnetization coils, I don't think. So I am picking stuff up. Oh, we do. Perfect. I actually didn't know that. I need to go grab one of those. That's our last piece for the farm, is actually getting a demagnetization coil, because then you won't pick it up. So let's actually grab one of those. I need iron, redstone, and gold. I just picked those up in a completely different order than I actually said, but that's okay. And then we need to do 1 piece of glowstone. Do I have any glowstone? I legitimately not have a single piece of glowstone on me. Oh, right there. I didn't see it. There we go. I had to give it one more look. I need to start using EMI's search feature to actually find stuff. All right, so for the demagnetization coil, we're actually just going to set this up here and show render area. And then we're going to move this down. There we go. And then out, and then out. And that should be a pretty decent area. And we're just going to grab canola and the canola seeds and just say whitelist. So that way I will not pick these guys up when I'm nearby. Perfect. Perfect. Okay. So that should complete that. That makes it a much more effective farm. Not using RF. The only thing that, of course, is the canola press itself, which should not be too taxing on the system. I might want to try and make another oil generator for over here, just so that way we have extra power in case we start using it. The reason I wanted to look at this is because we actually were using too much refined canola oil. So I could look at potentially getting a second fermentation barrel or something along those lines to make more refined canola oil. Because it does look like we actually have excess in here. So I might look at that. But I'll do that off camera since you guys have already seen me mess with the fermenting barrel. Something else, somebody pointed out that the aluminum recipe that we've been using is actually, let me see if I can find it here, is actually producing oxygen. It doesn't need oxygen. So that was the issue that I was having and getting confused by. So this electrolyzer does not need this bucket of water, and also the oxygen is what's actually being produced. Alrighty, so I've just spent some time here working on a couple things. And I want to kind of set something up for the future in a sense of how we're going to handle a little bit more of this pack going forward. So for now, I have a new EBF, electric blast furnace, set up specifically for molten redstone. Molten redstone is going to be used for getting the completed circuits and several other pieces, as you can see, of AE2. So the processors, not circuits in this case. So we've got the calculation, we've got engineering, logic processor, all of these. I think that's it, right? That's all of the things. All of these different recipes for AE2, and it looks like even for actually additions with the Atomic Reconstructor, we need molten redstone. So what I've done now is kind of just set up a molten redstone system where we throw redstone in here, it then becomes molten redstone, comes out here into this assembler, so we have one that's always filled with molten redstone, or when we push in actual redstone into this barrel. So in the future, when we have AE2, we can drop a crafter here, it can throw redstone in, and figure out the rest of that out down the line. So for now, we're just going to focus on the three main components of AE2, because these should be the only ones that are used. There is, of course, the extended AE and mega cells one. I don't think these are used in any of the normal recipes. Yeah, you've got like extended inscriber, oversized interfaces, so this is all extended AE, which we'll definitely want to look at in the future, but as of now, we won't have access to those. Okay, so we need to just grab an electric packer, 3 of these. Alrighty, so I've got the 3 packers here, and I think for now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put them up here, and then run the power cable out the back, and then I'll just cover it all up with facades, of course, or well, the normal block, so that way it won't be seen. I need a little bit more tin cable. And I am just using 10 because I don't think it's going to be too big of a deal. But looks like I'm actually completely out of 10 cable. All right. Turns out I needed 4 packers because I forgot about silicone. But we have now got that and the 10 cable to go with that. Okay, so everything should be set now. All we need to do is do one of each of these besides the concurrent, which comes out of the cube alongside all the others. Okay. And then we can lock that center piece so it just kind of stays there. And then we can lock the bottom one as well, I guess. That's probably not a bad idea. So that way we can't shift click or push into it. Okay. And then I think what we're going to try and do for this is just do item cables or item pipes, whatever we want to call these stupid things. Whatever we want to call these things. Ooh, and I accidentally probably just connected. I don't want to pipe back there. Okay. So we can put a barrel here that will be output, and we're going to filter this because we're going to filter all of these. So this one would be for, and we can just check here, diamonds. Oh man, I completely forgot we need diamonds for this. I'm going to have to get into pneumatic craft next episode. So what we can do here is just look up diamond and set that as our white list on insert. On here, we can do calculation, which I believe is Certus quartz. Yes, it is. So we can look up Certus quartz. Perfect. And then this one is Inscriber Logic Press. So that would be gold in this case. Logic. Let me just do what I've been doing and check. Yes, it is logic for gold. Okay. So there's that one. And then this one should be silicone or silicon, whatever you want to call it. Silicone. That would irritate some people. And this one is just ingots of silicone, right? No, silicone plates. Okay. This one right here. Perfect. And then this would just be blacklist. And then for exporting, we're going to need a different colored cable. All right, so while I'm doing some miscellaneous tasks here, I just quickly want to talk about kind of how I want to structure AE2 in this pack, because we're using modern industrialization. That's one of the things that's going to be kind of a headache for me because I'm not 100% sure how it'll fully function. I've got a little bit of MI knowledge now with playing with it for a little bit, but one of the things that I want to do is kind of create a factory in a sense where we have an independent electric mixer that could be used to make, like, for example, silicone dust like I am right now, but I want to have it to where we have another crafter and another crafting system where it's a mixer and a furnace, so that way it produces silicone ingots all in one go rather than doing silicone dust, sending it over to a furnace like we usually do, right? So I want to have it to where we kind of just have an absurd amount of machines that basically allows for us to do certain things in a matter of just clicking a button. It's not sending it all over the place to one machine to another. So that way this mixer, the independent mixer, would always be available to make silicone dust or whatever for batteries in this case, or in another case, right? So because we do need silicone dust for certain batteries, because we need silicone batteries, and that can make a whole bunch of different pieces. So it's kind of like having the ability to have something available is definitely going to be very, very useful in the future, because if we don't, I think we're going to have a lot of backlog. And so that's kind of how I'm thinking we go about making our factory-esque AE2 combination, because it shouldn't be too difficult. It will be a lot of machine making, but I think we need to make sure that we have a foundation for creating the machines before we do anything. And I think we should have enough power and everything to do that, but it'll be an interesting thing. So, of course, I'm making some silicone plates upstairs. I have a couple pieces of silicone plates here, so we could toss these in, these in, these in, these in, and then also we could work on getting our red item pipes, which are going to connect to here. These are actually going to be output, and output into here. Okay, so I think one of the only issues with this is we're going to need to kind of lock in where this printed silicone needs to go. So let's do lock this slot. Can I just set that in there? I can. Okay, so we'll just have that. I'm probably going to need more assemblers. I'm thinking I'm going to need more assemblers anyway. So right now, if I were to let this one go, it should just fill in here. But I think if we didn't lock the other slots, we're going to have issues. And I wish there was a way to be like, or this item. That would be a pretty cool thing. Where it's like you could put down the processor or be like, hey, or this is a substitute, or this is a substitute. Because I think that would make things a lot easier in this case. And it looks like we are dropping power. Oh, because this thing is completely empty. Why are you completely empty? Oh, because you are not inputting. You're outputting. That should solve that. A little bit. It looks like we're still draining pretty much all of the power. Oh no, it's just filling. Okay, so this is actually enough to produce all the power we need, which is fantastic. Okay, for now, what we'll do is we can just manually insert things. Actually, hold on. Why did I need this assembler here? I only need one assembler, don't I? Yeah, I can... Hold on. I'm hurting my own brain here for a second. Goodness gracious. I'm thinking I am doing something completely different. So I can do this. And just get these guys set up. And then I can make a couple more assemblers and just call it a day. Okay, let's unlock that. So as of right now, we don't really have the best solution, but we do just need one more assembler, and we'd be able to basically pipe out of this. Man, I really don't like the fact that I can do that. Click through a facade. Okay. But I can just have another... Dang it. It's because shift clicking allows you to place through facades. I can do a whole bunch of silicone plates and just fill these. Because now what I can do is I can just lock all of this and just set this as the recipe, right? So this is the recipe that we're going to go for this one. And then over here, we can set this as the recipe for this one. And I actually don't want to lock the bottom two just in case we have overflow. And then I can just get one more assembler. I think that should work. I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm doing this all wrong. But I think right now, this is a pretty decent solution. And then, of course, what we can do here is... So this is printed calculation circuits. We can just do insert. And then all of these should just be blacklist. So they can send out to whatever ones they want. And we can whitelist. So if these were in here, which I can't put them back in there, they would then flow into here. And then, of course, once I get the logic part, which I don't think I can actually do this. No. But I think I can kind of cheese this a little bit. Just got to find what I'm looking for in this mess of things. So I can kind of cheese this by just saying, hey, logic processors can go here, and then whitelist that, and then they should be able to send into this. So I just need to do out and that, and then it should send down to this barrel. Okay. So I think that's a pretty good solution. And what I should really do is just move the printed silicone one over here or something, because it looks really funny being like this. I'll mess around with it. But this is kind of the concept, right? I'll get the third machine. That's something else with modern industrialization, is making one machine is just a pain, especially with the electric machines. And we aren't even close to the next tier, right? We haven't even started on that. So there's a lot of work to be done. I'm going to be working on AE2 for the next few episodes. I think we also need to get into pneumatic craft to get the pressurized chamber, because we need to start getting diamonds, because we still don't actually have a way to make diamonds. Remember, all the diamonds we currently have are from diamond horse armor, and other cheeky methods that we found through exploring. So we still don't have diamonds, like actual production of diamonds. We could go into the Undergarden. I kind of want to do this the way the pack intended, and maybe we go to the Undergarden. Do we have a quest for that? Dimension hopping. The key to the door below. 10 large plate, gold curved plates, diamond plates. Okay, so these do cost. I mean, that looks like it may be an option. Locate catacombs. We'd also be able to get a different set of gear that might be pretty decent. The Undergarden is filled with materials embedded in the native stone. The stone seems malleable enough to smelt diamonds directly. These ores occur at high levels around Y112 and up, with the best place to dig between Y level 120. Okay. So yeah, let's plan on that next episode because we need diamonds. Of course, because we need these engineering processors because they're going to be used at some point here. I think, yeah, ME drive. I think the actual drives themselves require them. Applied discs, or cells, aren't they called cells, not discs? So this would be, where's the normal cell? 1K ME. So we're looking at copper plates, steel plates, the 1K ME storage component, which is actually additions, Certus quartz, logic processors, and then of course if you want to go up from there, you're going to need to start having different materials. Okay. Okay. All right. So there's a lot of things for me to do. That is for sure. I know we've got enough refined canola to last us quite a while because I forgot to mention this. I did actually make a second canola field over here. Same method, same everything. And there's also a little bit of funny things on this field because I was messing around with a quest reward actually that I kind of forgot to mention. Where did I get this from? There was a quest that actually gives you this reward. Oh, this quest, the enhanced fertilizer. Since I made the red fertilizer, there's crop supports, and this gave us 4. So that was pretty cool. I don't know how useful it really is. I tried looking at it and experimenting. Couldn't really find a benefit, but the crop supports aren't cheap. They do require 4 compressed iron ingots per 1. So just keep that in mind. Not cheap at all. But we are cruising still. So we've definitely got enough refined canola. We've got backlogs. And we definitely could expand our power once it comes to the actually additions. And I hope you guys have been enjoying these episodes. I honestly have been enjoying playing FTB NeoTech rather than all the mods 9. Just because we kind of keep running into small minor issues. And yeah, I just haven't felt like playing it, so maybe in the future we'll get around to finishing up all the mods 9, but FTB NeoTech is kind of where my mind's at recently, so I'm enjoying this. I genuinely am. There's a lot of little quirks and stuff we're having to figure out, and I don't mind that at all. I'm really enjoying this, and I hope you guys are too. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay awesome, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye-bye.